Does LEGO have a gift with purchase problem? As somebody who frequents YouTube and different forums, I definitely see a lot of strong opinions about this topic. In fact, many people, whenever you see a leak of a gift with purchase or the announcement of a gift with purchase, will vocalize their beliefs in one way or another. And typically the complaints are oftentimes going to be focused on the high-end gifts with purchase or the ones that are exclusive, such as the Dungeons & Dragons Mimic Dice Box, the Fell Beast, or Luke's Skywalker. So in this video, I'm gonna outline 4 different beliefs and opinions that I've seen about gifts with purchase. I'll tell you which one I side closest with, and if you don't like this method, if you don't like the gift with purchase program that LEGO does, what it would take for them to change it. The first broad opinion or beliefs that I'm going to outline is what I call, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now this, I think, has 2 components to it, the LEGO side and then the fan side. And on the LEGO side, this is where they're at. We can offer gifts with purchase, entice people to buy sets, whether specific sets or spend a certain amount of money, because getting someone to buy the set early on is a lot better than them wanting to buy the set and never getting around to it. And we know, studying human behavior, that's a lot easier to hook somebody on day 1 and get that purchase than getting them to buy it 2-3 years after it's been released. It still happens, but you want to bank those sales early, especially as a company like LEGO that's putting out lots of different products all the time. So that's why you see these exclusive gifts with purchase with specific sets, or you'll see a threshold for a gift with purchase. Now on the fan side, what you'll see with people is, I get gifts with purchase when I buy some LEGO sets. Sometimes I'll buy LEGO and I don't get gifts with purchase. And quite frankly, I like the gifts, but it might not move the needle for me to buy something, or it's going to get me to buy that set a little bit sooner than I really would. And from LEGO's point of view, that's a success. So these people don't have a huge problem with the gift with purchase program as it currently stands, and probably are wondering, why is somebody making a video on this topic? The other 3 opinions and beliefs that I'm going to outline are strictly from the fan point of view. And the next one is, well, I deserve gifts with purchase. This mentality is, think of people that are habitual purchasers of LEGO. They go to the LEGO store multiple times a year, maybe every single month or most months, to buy the latest releases, or go online and buy loads of pick and build pieces or whatever it might be. And these people will look at, say, I am a loyal customer. I spend a lot of money on LEGO. LEGO should give me some gifts with purchase. It's earning my loyalty and I'm rewarding them for that. At the same time, I think there are some people that would say, well, I'm okay with this because it compensates me for waiting up until midnight to order the Dungeons & Dragons castle, or getting to the LEGO store an hour in advance of opening in order to get in line to buy the Tudor corner, and I want that corner kiosk because I deserve it. And I waited in line. It's a small but meaningful compensation for spending time in line or waiting up until midnight. A classic example of this is from 8 years ago, when LEGO offered the black VIP card when people purchased the UCS Millennium Falcon for $800. Now this was a September promo only, so you had to buy the UCS Millennium Falcon in that first month. And what LEGO thought they were doing was, there's a small cadre of fans, they're gonna get this set, we've got the black VIP card, and they will get, as a reward, some exclusive benefits, not really all that defined, over the next year. Well, as it turned out, of course, many people wanted that VIP card. Many people wanted the UCS Millennium Falcon and went out to get it day 1, and of course LEGO ran out of Millennium Falcons, and they ran out of the black VIP card, and the whole program ended up being a little bit of a mini disaster, if you will. But certainly that fits into the mentality of, hey, gift with purchase, awesome, I deserve them. The third attitude or opinion is that LEGO should be doing gifts with purchase, or they can do gifts with purchase, as long as it's not exclusive. This would mean no exclusive pieces, no brand new colors of pieces that already exist, and certainly no exclusive minifigs. Now, a lot of people will voice this concern or this opinion because of some of the aftermarket value of these sets. I mentioned Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, the Fell Beast, as well as the Dungeons & Dragons Mimic Dice Box, and over the years, the ones with exclusive minifigs tend to be more expensive on the secondary market. Now, a lot of people also look at these gifts with purchase and say, wait a second, I would love to buy this. If you just made this available for 20 bucks, 30 bucks, I'd go out and I'd buy it. You don't need me to spend $80, $100, $150, just make it available. You'd sell a ton of them. And they may acknowledge that the gifts with purchase are an incentive for people to buy. One thing that this crowd would want to see is just make those available for purchase 6 months later. Just at some point in the next year, open up a bunch of them for people to buy. And I think the rationale is, yeah, give the people that wait in line, give the people that buy sets on day one or spend $250 on a threshold early access to that set. But hey, give us a shot. Let us buy it. Another element to this is they would want the gifts with purchase to be made of readily available pieces that you can get on Pick and Build online at lego.com or maybe Bricklink relatively cheaply. And so again, no exclusivity in terms of who gets the set, no exclusivity in terms of the pieces, and certainly not in terms of the minifigs. The fourth attitude or opinion is probably a small number of people, but certainly vocal, and I've seen it multiple times on different forums and types of media, and that is Lego should just get rid of gifts with purchase. Don't even have them. That Lego used to sell their product without having to incentivize people through the gifts with purchase program, so why do it now? Get rid of it, and that way nobody's going to be able to sell these ultra expensive secondary market gifts with purchase, or these scalpers that go in and buy multiple copies of a set or lots of money at the Lego store just to get a bunch of copies of the gift with purchase and then sell them at a later date. Befuddles their plans or makes it harder for them to do that. And it has an argument that I think can resonate with a lot of people. Not just because, oh, I don't like gifts with purchase, I can't afford them or whatever, but there is, I think, an ethical component, moral component to this argument. And that is, Lego is inducing FOMO, fear of missing out, by offering these gifts with purchase. And FOMO does have a lot of negative consequences in terms of mental health and even making poor financial decisions. So there is an argument to be made that this could add to consumerism or bad budgeting or stressing people's mental health. And that's where this argument lies. So where do I fit in on this? I'm gonna get some comments on all four and I'll work my way to where I'm at when it comes to this. And then I'm gonna tell you, if you don't like the gifts with purchase or how it's being done right now, what it would take for Lego to change. So starting with the fourth argument that Lego shouldn't have gifts with purchase, I would say I can't really agree with that mentality, certainly in its entirety, if at all. And that is because people do have agency. We have the ability to make decisions. And what would it take for us to not make bad decisions? It's kind of scary to think about what that would entail. And I think making poor decisions oftentimes allows us to learn from our mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Furthermore, the problem isn't with Lego's gift with purchase. Lego is doing lots of things to induce FOMO, to get people to buy more and more goods, and Lego is far from the only company to do that. If Lego got rid of gifts with purchase, it might be replaced with something else. More insiders giveaway, more sales, discounts here, discounts there, maybe bulk sales to retailers that can then charge a little bit lower prices where there aren't Lego stores. I mean, there are all sorts of different things that companies use to get people to buy their products. And Lego's not alone, and I don't think we should expect Lego to just stop because we think it's morally problematic or that we just don't like that certain people are getting gifts with purchase. So I am not gonna side with argument number 4. Now, the third opinion on exclusivity, I'm sympathetic to. I don't think it's a good business model, but I certainly understand why people would want that, and I think it has a little bit of appeal, especially when it comes to the exclusive minifigs. Now, I will say this though, for most of those people, the gifts with purchase are very accessible on the secondhand market. In fact, if you go back through the 2024, 2023 gifts with purchase, you'll note that most of them are pretty affordable. The houses of the world that required a $250 threshold in order to get, you can find for between $25 and $32 on Bricklink or eBay. The shops that were 2024, again, $200, $250 threshold, find for about $20 to $25. Even some of the more popular ones that people really like the Pumpkin or the Retro Record Player or some of those other ones, between $20, $25, maybe $30 for some of those, which fits what you would expect given the piece count and what you get for that particular set. So they are accessible, but I think the exclusivity really does fall on the ones with exclusive minifigs, especially those with a licensed theme. And that's kind of the market, but those are relatively few and far between, with only a handful of those existing every single year. The last thing I will say is, it sounds nice to say, well, LEGO should make gifts with purchase that don't have exclusive pieces, exclusive colors, and make them available to buy those pieces on Pick and Build and maybe even Bricklink. The reality is though, buying those pieces adds up. And you may not really get it for all that much less, if at all less, if you're going the Bricklink way and have to make multiple orders, than just buying the set itself on the secondhand market. As for the second argument about, well, I deserve it, that's definitely not my mentality. I sometimes will buy sets, sometimes I don't. We bought last year 12 LEGO sets all year. We have a YouTube channel, I know, 12 sets. Now, a lot of those sets were rather pricey. We got gifts with purchase for some we didn't. We don't go out every single month to buy LEGO sets. Probably every 2 to 3 months we'll go and get LEGO purchase. We might make a Bricklink order sometimes during the year for a custom build, but we're not taking full advantage of the gifts with purchase. And honestly, waiting in line, I don't view gifts with purchase as any sort of compensation for it. I usually will go with my wife or a friend, and we just enjoy talking to the people in line. And by the way, shout out to those of you on January 1st that I saw in the LEGO store that recognized us and talked with us. It was great meeting you, and I hope to see you again at a future release date. Of course, that leaves one more place for me to side with, and that's the status quo. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And honestly, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I understand why LEGO uses gifts with purchase. I also understand that LEGO has not always used gifts with purchase. It's relatively new. In fact, the earliest one I could find in recent times was 2003, but there was a gap between 2003 and 2007, 2008, when we really saw the modern incarnation of adult-oriented LEGO sets. I don't plan my purchases around gifts with purchase. I'm thinking about what sets do I like, what's the best price I can get them for, and how does it relate to the YouTube channel. We do have limited resources, and we have to pick and choose when and what we're gonna buy and what we're gonna buy, and so the gifts with purchase, it helps. But I'm not gonna wait a month to buy the modular building in 2023, 2024, just because you get a gift with purchase if you wait and buy it in January as opposed to in December. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense for our channel. So ultimately, I'm kind of with opinion number one, and that might be where most people are at. But if you want to change LEGO's gift with purchase program and how it's run, it's going to take some work, but it's possible. The beautiful thing about companies like LEGO is they respond to big shifts in consumer preferences. That if, for whatever reason, consumers stop reacting to gifts with purchase, if consumers say, "Dear LEGO, I have an ethical consideration or problem with why you're doing this and what you're doing with gifts with purchase." If enough people come to LEGO and say, "I'm not giving into the whole gift with purchase mentality that I've got to get them," or "well, now I'm going to buy LEGO because I'm getting that," or that they find that people are using their money on that when they would have bought more LEGO later on, LEGO will shift. Now, that's not easy, and it's probably not a satisfying answer, but that is in part the system that we work in. And honestly, if you're a LEGO fan, you're probably at least acknowledging that that's a reality, and you're generally okay with it because LEGO is expensive and it takes a lot of disposable income, and that requires some form of capitalism. right? So the reality is Lego can and will respond. Would they respond quickly? Probably not. How long would it take? Probably a while before Lego would stop doing gifts with purchase. But fundamentally, Lego will stop doing that when it makes sense for them to do it from a business standpoint. Whether they're losing money from producing the sets, or there's enough pushback against the company for offering the gifts with purchase. So all told, I side more with opinion number one. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it's possible for us to change Lego's approach to gifts with purchase. It will take time, and it may take a lot of feedback from consumers before that ever happens, but I'm okay with that. If the consumer shifts and Lego's still able to offer good products, let's do this. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think and which opinion you stand with in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.